What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Steven Pfeiffer. I'm cherry picking all the best sports cards to buy, sell, and trade. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of the fun. Let's go ahead and dive in. As you can see, I got a couple pieces of mail that arrived today. I was very excited. It was a long weekend. They were supposed to arrive on Saturday. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a delay, but I knew that today was going to be the big day. You can see there's a couple here. I got the little one on top and a big fatty here on the bottom. And the little one on top's not going to be anything too crazy. I'm actually getting back into investing in Luka. I'm sure a lot of you guys are very familiar with the prices and just how things have gone up in an insane amount. Last year, that's pretty much kind of how I help supplement the income to be able to reinvest in other cards for my PC. I really didn't collect Luka a lot. I held a couple, but once I saw prices start to go up, I started just to sell them all off. But I wish I would have held on to a lot of them because they've gone up a ridiculous amount from over the summer and then compared to the end of last season. And that's really when I was getting heavily back into the hobby. I took a little bit of a break, been pretty busy, but just couldn't stay away. And so I'm glad to be back. I know it's been a while since my last video, but definitely look forward to doing more things like this. I'm definitely going to be getting back into doing some flipping. That way I can kind of collect some other guys that I really want to invest in. I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot about the sports card investor. He's been pretty popular, very helpful, very knowledgeable, and very beneficial with all the data that he's been able to provide. And so that's something that's been able to help encourage me to look for these certain things, to research ahead of time, and kind of have certain guys you can hop on their bandwagon, root for them, and hopefully they do well so that it helps you out as well. But let's go ahead and dive in. The title kind of said it all here. And what we got here, and the little guy, is some Luka freshman phenoms. And I actually just picked up a small little lot of these. It's actually just the same card, but times 3. And 2 in top loaders, 1 not, but not a big deal. I can easily throw 1 in that top loader, but they all seem to be in pretty decent shape from what I can tell. They're just the base phenoms, and I know these aren't too exciting, and these aren't really even one of the more expensive ones, but definitely something to kind of hold on to. I got them for a pretty reasonable deal. I think maybe like $10 for all 3, and that's with shipping, so I was pretty stoked about that. I know I could maybe sell 1 off for even probably that price and just have all extra for myself, profit from that point forward. But the big one's the one I'm really excited about, and I actually got some more Lukas, of course, but some other stuff. I'm kind of excited to see what all he put in here too, and it seems to be packaged very nicely. I, of course, kind of snipped it open just to kind of get it ready ahead of time, but I love it when sellers do this. This is definitely something that I do personally when I ship out, and that's put some cardboard on the outsides. I know that the bubble mailer certainly helps, but this just, if there's anything getting bounced around and bent or anything along those lines, this is certainly going to help it. I even do something, I don't have the sticker that say do not bend, but I'll just take a red Sharpie and write do not bend. And I hopefully doesn't mean that they're throwing it around, but I haven't had any complaints. So, and make sure to check out the eBay account if you haven't already. I'm definitely going to be posting some of these things. Leave some comments if you guys are interested. Of course, like I said earlier, I do some trading as well, so I'd love to be able to see if there's something you're interested in. But I'm going to go ahead and take these guys off of here and see what we got going on. But, yes, sir. And so I actually picked up 2 lots here. I got, as you can see, Luka, of course, and then Jason Tatum. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I'll go ahead and do Luka since we've kind of been, doing his stuff already. But not a ton of stuff, but definitely something that was definitely worth my time and my interest and definitely caught my eye. And so we'll start with this gem right here. This is something I'm definitely considering holding on to. These dazzles, they've got a certain appeal to them. I really like the threads, of course. I mean, this one doesn't say rookie card on it or anything, but it still looks nice. So there's that guy there. And then, of course, we got to have the optic base here. And so that's one I'm pretty excited about. You can tell centering's certainly not perfect there, but it's definitely a pretty sharp-looking card. I love that rated rookie look up there. I keep my Trae Young pretty simple little Donruss, but just a classic card. I just love that rated rookie look, and so I was pretty excited about this. I got, all four of these particular cards for about $37, which is nothing, literally nothing. I mean, this particular card right here goes for about 30, sometimes higher on a really good day. And then I got, the Donruss version to match it. I had to get that guy too. The centering on this one actually looks pretty decent, honestly. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'll scope it out a little bit more under the lights and see what we got going on there. But I'll toss them up there next to Trey. Got to have those two guys together. And then, of course, we got the Rookie of the Year contenders. And I just thought this one was just very fitting. He did end up winning Rookie of the Year last year, and so I think this one might be another one to potentially hold on to. Prices have just been insane on Luka. Honestly, it's been really baffling to see what's happened. I mean, I know what Mahomes did. I know when he had his MVP season, and Luka could potentially do the same thing with the numbers he's putting up, nearly a triple double, or he's gonna basically get there at any point. So definitely going to be an all-star. So there's going to be these little things where people react a certain way, like on eBay, for instance, and kind of overreact, if you will, just because they're going to be paying way more and prices are going to start to go up. And so I'm pretty excited to see what happens throughout the season if he continues to maintain the success that he's had, and if so, what that's going to do with his prices. But some of these I might potentially look into just to kind of getting my money back, but other ones, like this one in particular, they're the Dazzle in Motion, and then probably that Rookie of the Year will be the two that I really hold on to just because of the uniqueness of them. They're a little bit different. They're not the commons. The Donruss and the Optic, you never know. I might hold on to them, but we'll see what happens. And then I got a couple of the freshman phenoms. So if anybody's interested, I definitely will do pretty reasonable deals. I definitely PC Trey Young's kind of my guy. I'm really big into him. So if you want to maybe do something for, Luka for Trey, I'm definitely down. And then Jason Tatum, kind of flying under the radar. He's in his third year. He's having a really solid season. He's averaging over 21 points. And third year is kind of that, that big, tipping point as far as, what are they going to do? It's going to be kind of that X factor as far as in their career, contract seasons, things like that. And then he's having a great season, though. So he's definitely doing what he needs to. And he's, like I said, flying under the radar, though. There's not a lot of hype about him, but he's the leader of the Celtics now. He's the guy there at this point. Hayward's getting ready to come back, but he's still the one that's putting up the numbers, and he's going to get into the playoffs, and he's going to be an all-star for sure. And with that stat line and just the ceiling as far as what he has for potential, this was a guy that I really had to look into investing in. I didn't have any of his stuff, honestly. I think I've pulled some stuff and maybe just kind of sold it off and with lots or whatever. Didn't have anything crazy, but saw this particular lot. The guy that I got the Lucas from, I said, hey, we maybe do something for these Jason Tatums. And so he threw these in for $5 extra, nothing extra on shipping. So it ended up being about 42, I believe, altogether. So nothing too crazy. But we got this one, I believe it's, an orange select. So I'm pretty excited about that. It looks pretty nice. Definitely, I like these parallels. That's definitely something, like I said, with the Luka in Motion, the Rookie of the Year, just something that's a little bit different than your standard base cards. Those inserts, if you will, those ones are a little bit more. They're not more rare necessarily, but they're a little bit more unique. And so I think certain times it may catch a collector's eye in a certain way. And so with this one, I really like it. Does have the rookie card, symbol up there too, but just the shine and just the look to it's pretty nice. And so I was excited to get that one. And then not all these are going to be rookies. That we got, pretty much something from his second year. So a couple of those, blue velocity. So nothing too crazy, but definitely still a pretty nice looking card. This one I'm pretty excited about. I know it's not anything too insane, but the optic base rated rookie, I definitely, like I said, love that symbol up there. And this is one that has the potential, I feel like, to go up as far as those base cards a lot, along with the Prism, of course. You saw kind of like what Lucas have done. They've gone up quite a bit, as far as like 3 or 4 times what they were at one point in time. So I feel like these are very low right now. There's a ton of them out there, but, potentially they could go up to, where you get a nice little ROI on what you're putting in. So I definitely want to get that. And then a couple of these guys, the Prestige, not a bad looking card. I thought it was okay. Kind of like how they have, the fans in the background over there. That's kind of neat. And then Here's the back side of it. But yeah, so just couple little lots that we picked up. Jason Tatum, and then got some Lukas. Got to have some Lukas. And so like I said, that was kind of pretty much my bread and butter last year as far as, hey, I'm going to sell Lukas, primarily the base prism. I was getting those last year. Literally, I'd get a lot of things. It'd be like 4 or 5 Lukas, kind of like something like this, but with a base prism for like $15. It was insane. And I'd sell off that prism for about $20, maybe plus shipping a lot of the times. And so that was pretty exciting. And then just everything else was gravy at that point. But that's not the case anymore. Those are literally $100 card. And so I just kind of kicking myself to see kind of what's ended up happening, with the market overall. But I think a lot of it's timing. You're gonna, there was just that, everybody got really excited at the beginning of the season for what he's been able to do. It's come down, it's starting to come down. That is, but with his stat line, I don't think it's going to drop much unless he gets hurt. Knock on wood. So let's continue with the Luka magic. It's been pretty fun thus far. He's an awesome player. He's really exciting to watch. My boy Trey, he's doing awesome, but he just can't quite do what Luka's doing. Luka's even averaging more assists, which I'm just really baffled at. Is this guy can do it all literally, and he's a really exciting player in his team. I think that's really been the difference this year, what his team's been able to do, being in the playoff hunt, and whereas the Hawks are kind of borderline, wanting to potentially get in as maybe an 8 seed, whereas the Mavericks, they might get a 4 or 5 seed. They're hovering around, the middle of, potentially getting a home court in the first round. I don't think that'll happen, but it's, kind of what they've been doing thus far. And so I think that's what helps the value if a team is successful and if a guy is consistent and, of course, putting up almost nearly a triple-double in your second year and you're in everybody's MVP talks, with only a month in. So I think it was just time for me to pick up a few of the common cards just to kind of see what ends up happening and just continue to root for these guys. That's the biggest thing. I'm a big basketball fan. So this is something that I was really looking forward to getting some more of with some Lukas. It had been far too long since I've had some Luka in my life. So Luka magic. Make sure to hit that like button down below, guys, if you're a Luka fan, and then the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action. I do plan on getting some more stuff here pretty soon, which I'm going to be talking about more on the investment side and what I want to do with potentially being able to sell it off and potentially and hopefully make some money off of it. And so I think that's everybody's goal. There's guys you want to collect, but a lot of times we're hoping for big hits and we're wanting to get some big profits at the same time. So let me know down below what are some of your favorite cards that you're collecting this year. Maybe some guys that you like to flip or invest, or what you think of Luka. Till next time, guys, take it easy.